topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Happy Pride and welcome to Triversity Talk. This Sunday is Pride in New York, and it's also going to be celebrated in many other places. If you are tuning in from Milford, Pennsylvania, where our Triversity Center is located, we're going to be having a very special Pride, a bingo Pride with the one and only Bell Pepper. And you can find out more about it if you go to our Facebook page, Triversity, the Pride Center. So make sure you check it out. I will be here in New York City for Pride, and I am proud to say I am one of the announcers. I will be at the AIDS Memorial on 13th Street and 7th Avenue from 2:30 until 5, along with comedians and actors and just fabulous people, Tim Moss and Ike Avelli. So if you're marching in the march, please make sure when you're done marching, come by and see us. The march ends approximately on 17th Street and 7th Avenue. So I expect you to stop by and say to me, Happy Pride, Wendy. In the beginning of the march, I will be with the Imperial Court of New York, and we kick off at 12 o'clock. So everybody is very excited about everything that's happening with Pride on Sunday. This year in particular, with everything going on, the anti-gay bills, the anti-trans bills, it's really important that we have the cohesiveness of the community to get out there and march. And speaking of which, right in our own hometown in Milford, Pennsylvania, we went around this week. Well, I didn't, but my other board members did. Thank you, Taylor. Thank you, Gretchen. And thank you, Lisa. And they handed out pride flags for various businesses. So I want to give a shout out here to all of the businesses in Milford that are displaying our beautiful rainbow colored flags. And speaking of rainbows, tonight's guest is just a cavalcade of rainbows, of sparkle, of often distaste. That's right, distaste, because our guest tonight is really the queen of parodies. Our guest tonight is very unique. And I like to say our guest is not your typical drag performer. Actually, our guest tonight is the one and the only BearDonna. And I love to say, what happens when you take a bear and you mix the bear with Madonna? You get BearDonna. Get it? It's funny. And so is BearDonna. So welcome to the show, BearDonna.
Oh, hi, Wendy. How are you?
Oh, love, you never disappoint. What are you doing there? You're like using a toothpick on your teeth?
Toothpick? No, I got fingernails.
Okay, it's a fingernail, right? A toothpick would be too classy. But I know
it would be.
I know to like be using a fingernail just as the show opens and the cameras are on you. How are you tonight, BearDonna?
I'm great. Good to see you. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
It's always great to see you. And lately, I've been very lucky because I feel like since January, when you performed at my birthday, I've been seeing you a lot. All of a sudden, it was like BearDonna came out of the bear den.
Finally. Yeah. We have been bumping into each other quite a bit, and it's really nice.
It's wonderful. And you've been doing a lot of shows now. You did a couple of shows at Pangea.
I have. I was very happy for that to happen.
That's great. And do you plan on doing a few more?
I do. My birthday is coming up, so I would like to do a birthday show.
A birthday bear show. Oh my
that's
God,
fun.
wait, I have a great idea. A build a bear workshop.
Ooh, they could build something on me, maybe a new costume.
You know what? You've never done an activity. You're the only one.
Oh, I have a game though
I bet you
at
do.
my show. Yeah, yeah. We play games at my show. I also have been doing a show for 6 years now straight. Well, except for the year we were down for COVID, but
But wait, 6 years straight, but you're not straight.
oh no. No, 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 no. I'm as gay as a clutch purse on Tony night.
There you go.
Um,
So let's talk about your show that you've been doing 6 years straight.
yeah, it's called All That Drag, and
Okay.
I helped create it, and it has been at Maureen's Jazz Cellar in Nyack, New York, the last Wednesday of every month for the last 6 years.
Now, tell me a little bit about this show. Do you do different characters in the show?
Well, it's not just me. We usually have maybe 3 to 4 performers.
Okay.
Sometimes I host. I always wind up playing a game with the audience, which is always a lot of fun. And they get a prize at the end. And this is also in my One Bear show at Pangea. I have a big furry bag with my name on it.
Of course.
And I call it my hairy sack. And I have prizes in there. So whoever participates in the game, whether they win or lose, they get to stick their hand in my sack.
And your hairy sack. I got it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's always something from the dollar store, because I'm also known as the dollar store Madonna.
Right.
Because I try to make everything on the cheap. So my prizes are always cool things from the dollar store.
I believe me, I totally love that. But you know, I have to say, when I was doing pandemic cooking with Wendy, you sent me a beautiful pair of gloves, right? You branded gloves, and they were like red and white polka dot and white gloves, and then they had a ring attached to them. And the beauty of them was they were rubber. They were latex gloves. So I used to use them when I washed dishes. Yes, I washed dishes.
I'm so glad you still use them.
I did until they got a hole in them, but that was only from over. But they're very lovely. I wanted to tell you that, the packaging and everything.
Oh, good. I'm glad you like them, damn dollar store.
So it's not just about dollars, right? You have things that are good. You gave me something else. I'm trying to remember. Oh, I remember what that was. A rhinestone encrusted cod piece.
Well, actually, it was a face mask for COVID. That's what I was using them for.
Were you really?
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what, BearDonna? That's like a multi-purpose thing. I see a big marketing opportunity for
Let's
you.
work on that.
Don't you think that's great? We just had Folsom in the city, and that would have been a very much in demand item.
Sure.
They
could make it their own scent.
They can make it their own. Did you put all those rhinestones on yourself?
I did. Just for you. I glued each and every one of those rhinestones on. Okay.
And that makes me feel really, really special. Thank you. So I want to share with our audience the first time I ever saw you perform. We were giving an event. It was Triversity. Was it first Friday? It was some special event. Was it Halloween? Do you remember what the?
It's Halloween.
It was Halloween
show, yeah.
And
that was the first time I met you.
You did, right? It was like our virgin voyage with each other. Yeah. And you came that night, but you weren't on the performer roster.
That's right.
You came and you were dressed. And you came over to me, and I will never forget that moment. You said, "Would you like me to perform?" And I said, "Well, what do you do?" I looked at you. I was trying to figure out what you did, and you told me you did parodies. And I thought, "Oh, that's great. That'll be fun." And I said, "Do you have your music with you?" And you said that you did. And I gave it to the DJ. And I learned a valuable lesson. Always listen to the music before you put the performer on the stage.
Sorry about that.
No, you never have to apologize. It was nothing bad involved. And that's when I learned who BearDonna was. Do you remember the parody that you performed that night at all?
I do. I was dressed as the Little Mermaid.
Yes.
Or as I call it, Ariel.
Ariel, right.
Because I do several characters, and all my characters have the word bear in it somewhere.
Well, they would have to.
just to distinguish myself from everybody else.
Totally.
Yeah, and I actually I won a couple awards for that cosplay awards. So it's gotten some mileage out of me, which is good, or I've gotten mileage out of it.
Well, it works. It's mutual mileage with each other.
Yeah, we're one and the same. But the parody that I was doing in that particular costume was my parody to Part of Your World from The Little Mermaid,
right?
The original Little Mermaid. Only it was the adult version, and it was called "I'm a Whore Girl."
Oh my God!
And it was about being a prostitute.
So you, so I like the way your mind works. You have a big imagination, BearDonna. So you took Ariel from one of the most innocent, beautiful children's, really animated piece.
Yeah.
You made her into a whore.
Uh-huh.
And thus the parody that BearDonna performs came from that. And poor Ariel, the last I heard, she couldn't swim far enough out of the ocean. She didn't care that she was a mermaid. Someone recently spotted her on a rock. So there you have it. But extremely entertaining. And you're right, these are adult parodies.
Yes.
I didn't realize there were children in the audience that night. I wasn't thinking about that, but there you go. And the rest is history. But you know what?
They have to learn sometime.
That's right. We all have to learn something sometimes. And it was very, very funny. I want to talk about how you found this particular hook of Bear with Madonna, where this character came from.
Well, I've been BearDonna for like 12 years now. And the whole thing started when I met Sherry Vine.
Oh my God. And we all love Sherry Vine.
How could you not love Sherry Vine?
Right. Sherry Vine, by the way, I always tell this story. 20 years ago, I gave a huge birthday party, or 15 years ago, huge snowstorm. Every drag queen I had booked that night canceled. They all were supposed to show up with a blonde wig and say they were me. There were like 4 of them. Guess who came in the blizzard, in the snow? It was one of the few times we had like feet of snow in New York. Mm-hmm. Sherry came, and I never forgot that. And she has done every big birthday party for me since, except the one you were at this year. So shout out to the amazing Sherry Vine. Okay, please keep going.
And she was a friend, or still is a friend, of a close friend of mine. And it was like, 6 degrees of separation with other friends who knew her. And then I wound up meeting her at a birthday party, like I met you, pretty much.
Those birthday parties are good for things.
Yeah. So it was my best friend. It was my best friend, Anthony, who threw himself.
Shout out to Anthony, it's Calcara, yeah?
Calcara, yeah, Anthony Calcara.
Yeah. Shout out to Anthony.
My best friend, we've been friends since 1979. I can't lose him. I don't know why. He just keeps coming around. But whatever. And he had a friend who knew Sherry. And she hooked them up. And they met. They became friends. And then Sherry performed at his birthday party. And then that's when I got to fall in love with Sherry Vine. And then I started watching the videos, and Sherry is hilarious. And I thought, you know what? She's beautiful. And she can sing, and she's funny. Yeah. I'm going to maybe do a spin on that. Now, I had done another costume character. I did a fat, hairy version of Wonder Woman.
Oh, God.
Called Wonder Woe Bear.
What?
And
wait, what is it? Wonder Woe Bear?
Woe Bear, yeah.
Okay.
And I went to the Pride Parade because one year I knew Linda Carter was going to be in the Pride Parade. I sent her a message on Facebook, and I never heard from her. But I knew she was going to be in the parade. So I got in my costume. I found her in the parade. I met her, took pictures with her. Oh, and I said to her, "What do you think of this?" She thought it was hysterical. I said, "I want to take this to Comic-Con, but I'm scared." I'm scared because, 11, 12 years ago, it really wasn't acceptable for, a hairy guy to do drag.
A hairy gay guy.
A hairy gay guy to do drag. Yeah.
Right. And now every queen in Brooklyn has a beard that's doing drag. But you're right.
Welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I have to say, you were a road paver, BearDonna. You were really one of the first. And and I want to go back to this story, but can you just, in your own words, tell our audience what a bear is? Because a lot of people may not know.
A bear in the gay community is someone who's usually overweight and hairy. Most times bald, doesn't have to be bald, but just a bigger guy or a chubbier guy or a muscle bear. You could be muscular,
right? You can
mostly hairy,
right?
And I am that.
So basically, gay bears can pass for straight men.
Sure, absolutely.
They absolutely
yeah.
Okay, so let's go back to Comic-Con because I love this. So you really got it together and you went there looking like BearDonna.
Just as Wonder Woman.
Right.
Yes, right. I wore my Wonder Woman costume to Comic-Con and I won 3rd place for Best Costume of New York City.
You see? Now, what have we learned here on this show? Take a risk. Believe in yourself, right? And don't be afraid.
And listen to Linda Carter.
Yeah, right. I love Linda Carter.
Yeah, so then I just started, okay, there really is something to this. That was before BearDonna. So I thought, what other female icon do I love that I could maybe put a spin on it? And Madonna just popped up. I mean, Madonna was there all along.
Right, she was.
And the name just was perfect. Instead of Madonna, it's BearDonna.
Right.
So I like to tell people
that sticks with people. You can run your name anywhere, and there's a lot of people doing drag, but seriously, everyone knows who you are because of the name. It's extremely catchy.
Yeah, so it just kind of went together. So that's when I brought the idea to Sherry Vine. This is how Sherry Vine comes into the picture. I brought the idea of doing parodies to her. And she said, do it. Nobody is doing bear drag in New York right now. You'll corner the market. Do it. So I said, okay. I went and I wrote a song. I wrote my first parody, which was to Maroon 5's Moves Like Jagger. And I did it as a duet with me and Sherry.
Oh, I love it.
And, obviously she agreed first. I gave her the song. She loved it. We shot a video for it. And then I've been in several of her videos. She's been in several of mine. And then the character just took off.
It's an amazing story, the history of BearDonna, really. It could be a children's book if the lyrics on some of the songs weren't so dirty, but it's a good think about it. It's like it really is a total, I don't know anyone that's done that. It's a total fantasy, mixing a bear with Madonna and coming up with BearDonna. And the other hook that you have here, you're very funny, and you are a comedian. It is a form of comedy.
Yeah, I think that's what makes me stand out, especially in the All That Drag show.
Right.
The other performers are great that are in the show also, but they're some are trans. They're more serious about drag. There are a few guys that are in there, that are doing legitimate drag, but they look like women. Right. And I think that's one of the things about me is like, I'm not going to shave for anybody.
Of course.
I love being a hairy man.
And you are hairy. I have seen you on stage. You are extremely hairy.
Yeah. And I just think it's funny when people look at me and they tell me I'm pretty. I don't see myself as being pretty. But because of I don't think I'm feminine in any way, other than the
still be pretty without being feminine. You can be pretty.
Yeah, I guess.
Way. There were a bunch of shots of you from the show that you just did at Pangea with Kobe Cole, the Nouveau Riche show. Yeah. And I was going through and I'm like, oh, BearDonna does look pretty in these pictures. So there you go. Never say never, right?
Thank you, Dollar Tree.
Thank you, Dollar Tree, for everything. So in terms of your own brand of being a bear, how do you feel about there is a large amount of drag out of Brooklyn now where everyone has a beard?
Yeah.
Has that like infiltrated your market at all? Like, how has that been for you? Does anyone pay you homage and say you paved the way, you were the first?
Never.
Well, that's why we have to.
I have not been told that. No.
Right.
I don't know why. I am more of a comedian, like you said. I'm not a physical performer. I don't do death drops and cartwheels and things like that. And I think to a degree, that's what a lot of these younger bearded or bear performers do.
Yeah, I would agree. Right.
Yeah. And I also don't just get up there and lip sync another song. Not that I'm saying there's anything bad about that.
Right.
I do my own stuff.
All your material is original.
Yeah, the music, I will borrow the music of another song, but the words are totally different.
I would say so. Your words are totally different.
Very different. Yeah.
They're very, very different. So when you were a little bear, let's call you a cub.
Yeah.
You grew up in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And did you have any of this performance stuff about you when you were a baby cub?
I always wanted to go into acting.
You did?
Okay, so or filmmaking. I went to the School of Visual Arts at NYU for filmmaking. And I left it to be in front of the camera instead of behind the camera. And I've done some things, but it didn't really pan out the way I had hoped it would as a career. I had family to take care of, and relationships got in the way. Life gets in the way of what
life gets in the way, we say, right?
Yeah. And then this came along, and I really enjoy changing the songs and turning them around and making them something different. I enjoy making videos.
Right.
And it just kind of fell into this.
Well, what you're talking about, what happened was really an evolution.
Yeah, and I guess you could say that. Sure. Yeah.
It was an evolution. And think about it. It started with Linda Carter. I mean, you can't make this stuff up.
I know, right? It started right at the top. Linda Carter and Sherry Vine.
Right. Your two influencers were Linda Carter and Sherry Vine, Wonder Woman and Sherry Vine. And it's interesting the amount of effect other people, other icons can have on our whole creative process. Because when you were in the School of Visual Arts, you weren't like doing any kind of drag, or were you doing Comic-Con then?
Nope. I don't think Comic-Con existed back then.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm up there. I'm up there in age. I'm getting there.
Well, no, but you're not there yet. That's what I tell you.
No, not yet.
Well, you know what? Don't rush it. You're not there yet, and you're doing great with the way you are now.
That's why I don't want to try doing a death drop, because it might be, and I might not get up from it.
So I can show you how to do one with knee pads.
All right, I've got knee pads.
I knew you did. That's why I'm saying. But yeah, you have to be careful how you hit the floor. And you're right. The kids hit the floor and nothing happens. Other people hit the floor and it's like a ton. Yeah. You can hear. Even now I can hear one of my board members and drag performer Belle Pepper this weekend twisted an ankle doing. I actually think she was just going down the 2 stairs on the stage, but man, I heard that thud. We all know that thud, BearDonna, right? That familiar thud where you're like, somebody twisted something or
you can feel it.
Yeah, and people don't realize like what's the risks involved with being a physical performer and being on stage. So your whole thing with costuming, your costuming is very unique. Do you have a background in costume design at all?
No, I don't.
Well, I
make all my own.
You
I have a mannequin, but I make them on myself.
You're your own fit model.
I am.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. I hot glue everything. I don't sew anything.
So your costumes are very fun. They look great, but they're hot glued together. My God, is there a certain skill to hot gluing? Because I surely don't have it.
Don't get burned. Don't get burned.
Maybe I need a different glue gun. I have like a crummy craft hot glue gun. Do you have a big gun, BearDonna, that you use? A big
Wendy.
do you have a big glue gun
I do.
that you use? You do. It's a big. See, my glue gun is like this big, and I think
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I felt I know you enough. I can share that with you. And someone gave it to me, and I'm really not good at creating these things. And yet I see people like you, and now you're telling me everything is glued everywhere. So I think it's a bigger gun for you.
Mm. Well, I started learning how to use a sewing machine. I mean, I can use a sewing machine, but I prefer not to, because if my dimensions are off, I have to rip everything up and start all over again.
Right. A glue gun is just,
a glue gun. You just put a hot iron on it. It melts. You lift it up and you move it, and you just fit it like that.
Right.
And then it stays in place. That's how I like to work. But,
wow. Believe me, it's all good. So I would love to look at your video. This video that we're going to show was just shot.
Yeah.
Like not even a week ago, right?
Last Tuesday, just a week ago. Yeah.
Oh, right. It was just a week ago. My God.
So warm.
So this is fresh. It's new, shot at Pangea, where there are wonderful performances.
Oh, it's such a great show.
We love Pangea. I broadcast from there on Wednesday afternoon, if these walls could talk. Pangea gives a platform for not just drag, performance of every way, shape, and form. You need to know that. If I'm talking to anyone that's a performer out there, you need to get in touch with Pangea. Okay, Juan, we can show the video now.
Don't be scared. It's okay.
I'm so confused, gotta do what is right, gotta do what I believe. Can't stand all this isolation, and it makes me wanna scream. The voice inside is telling me to step outside. I can't keep it in, I have too much pride. Gotta let them in, gotta make them see. Be the person I was meant to be. Was born this way, it's not a choice. Now hear my voice, I'm a homo, I'm a homosexual, I'm a homo, breaking down the closet door. I don't care what they're going to say, just step aside. You better just get out of my way. Some people just won't like me and try to make me feel small. All the fears that once controlled me are all gone, now I feel strong. It's time for me to just be me, to show the side of me that's all brand new. Not going back, I am happy, I'm free. I'm a homo, I'm a proud homosexual. I'm a homo, now I'm free to watch me go. Here I stand, and here I'll stay. God made sisters, we all must stand our ground. We can't let closed-minded people try to keep us all down. And when they do, we'll stand together and push past. I deserve respect like you, but I won't kiss your ass. I got a shape to blow, and you know I won't go. I am here and I'm here to stay. Here I stand, proud to say I'm gay. World, bring it on. If I leave me this way, don't care what you say.
Yay! Wow.
Thank you.
You know what? So we have to talk about this song. First of all, it's so powerful. Second of all, somebody should like just pick this up and do something with it.
I would love for that to happen. I would love to make a video for it.
Yes.
I'm not good technically like that.
Right. But you know what? We do know people who are. So think about that. But this song as a theme song is absolutely incredibly powerful. Really calls out the feelings inside. You're very vulnerable. And you put that into that song. And the emotion is in that song.
Yeah.
All right. And with everything going on right now, boy, you really tell it like it is. And it's a real departure. It's not comedic. It is not a comedic song.
No.
It is truth.
Yeah.
And when you got on stage and you started to sing, I was waiting for either the dirty payoff or the comedic payoff or just something gross that would occur to you. And none of it happened. You hit everybody with just an anthem. It's an anthem. That's what it is.
Thank you. Yeah. I end all my shows with that song.
I can imagine that you do. Tell me what the thinking was behind this song, why you wrote it.
Well, at the time, Let It Go was like the biggest thing in the world. And I wanted to do my own parody of it. And as I started writing it, I listened to that song like hundreds of times.
Right.
Just trying to match the sounds for, each, at the end of each line of lyric, I like to have a word that sounds the same as the original. So people recognize the song.
Right. So people can identify. And Sherry Vine does that all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just having trouble making something funny out of it. Mo kept coming to me,
right.
and then putting the rest of the word together, homosexual. I didn't want to make it a hurtful song. I wouldn't want to make fun of anybody.
Right.
If I'm going to make fun of anybody, it's going to be myself to make other people laugh. But I didn't want to make a song that would hurt other people's feelings. I never want to do that in any show. And I don't know, as I was just trying to come up with lines, it turned into more of a serious song.
Yeah.
And I figured, you know what, I like what's coming out here. I don't know what I was going through at the time, or if I was feeling anything. I must have, but that's what came out.
Right.
And and I'm very pleased with it. I enjoy performing it. I love audiences' reactions to it because they think it's going to be a dirty song.
Well, we're all expecting it. You get up on stage with whatever costume you have crafted, and everyone knows your MO. And then you got up there and you did that, and I thought, oh my God, this is just you felt, especially in the part where it starts to crescendo, you start to feel the power of the song, and you also talk about how being gay can be very isolating.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling that out.
Thank you.
Because there's a lot of people, especially my observation, as people get older and they may have a partner They may not. They may have had a partner and the partner passes. I know a lot of people that fall
That
into
happened to me.
that. Right. Okay. There you
Yeah.
go. And then you find yourself alone and isolated, or you find yourself, it's like you said, Anthony's been your best friend since 1979, which that's fabulous. So you have your chosen family.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Yeah.
it's hard, the isolation. Now, your relationship, how long were you involved with someone?
15 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that person and you were together as a couple for 15 years. Did you ever do legal marriage, or was it before all of that?
It was before all that. Yeah.
Wow.
And he had a family. He was married before. He was actually going through a divorce when I met him.
Wow.
And he had 2 kids. They knew that he was gay. I got along with them fine. They were a little older.
Yeah.
And we all got along fine. We had a great time together. When his son had his daughter, I was the godfather to her.
That's huge.
I was in the wedding party when his son got married, and then he passed, and the ex came into the picture, and everything changed.
But that is a typical story, BearDonna, for not just gay couples, for straight couples too.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And
when money comes into it, people change.
Every time. Yeah. And the fact, this is but another reason why marriage equality is so important, because with that you have a leg to stand on.
Right.
Prior to that, there's no leg to stand
there was
on.
Nothing.
We saw it. We went through the AIDS era, right? AIDS years.
Yeah.
My God, what I saw in those years, the amount of gay couples, and then one of the partners would die, and this family that you never saw height nor hair of, by the way, when the couple was together, maybe the family wasn't so accepting, all of a sudden they would appear on the scene. And the husband or partner, but husband, they had been together even though there wasn't this contract, no leg to stand on, thrown out of the apartment, things that they have mutually bought with their partner taken away from them. It is absolutely tragic. And that is why now marriage equality, if that ever ends up on the table with the insanity that's going on out there, that just can't be.
Ridiculous.
Right. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
And it's sad.
Yes.
Love is love, no matter who you love.
Right.
It should make a difference.
We should all be allowed to love whoever we want to love. And this stuff shouldn't even be up for grabs right now. And it is, and it's a very scary thing. That's why, to me, your song is an anthem. My God, I would like to see a group in Pride come down, play. You know how they play everything really loud on the speakers? I'd love to hear that song from a float on the speakers.
Can we make that happen?
Now, at this point, I'm just an announcer this year. I'm everywhere. Who knows what next year will bring? But let's think about that, because it is a wonderful piece. And like I remind everybody all the time, we all know people. It's a matter of, I call it the Rolodex of my mind, constantly wanting to bring people together. Can this one do this? Can that one?
You're very good at that.
But I'm not 100% great at it, because I'm not really good at doing it for myself all the time. I'm much better, for whatever reason, doing it for other people, and that's just how it plays. You mentioned wanting to do videos, and there's no reason why you can't be doing those. And if you think about the circle of people that we perform with, there's got to be somebody there that can put it together.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure.
Put that in your game plan. Now, in our lives, the things that we encounter, currently you're not seeing anybody, right? This is not me prying, or are you seeing somebody?
No, I am.
Good. That's great. So
Great
you have a partner, and you shared with me your dad is on in years.
Actually, he's passed now.
Right, but he was on in years and had passed, and that's another thing that so many people in our age group are going through, the caring of an older parent.
Yeah.
And it often in many families, and I don't know why this is, it falls on the gay son.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why
Absolutely.
is that?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I have a brother. Excuse me. I have a brother, and
Right,
he just did not want any part of it.
right.
Did not want any part of it.
Was your
And
was your father accepting of who you were?
yes,
That's
yeah.
because,
I can't. I certainly can't complain about that. I have never had any issues with my family about coming out.
I was going to
Um,
ask you about that. So that's a wonderful thing.
yeah, yeah. I was lucky that way.
Right.
Um, yeah, no. My father was, as far as I know, he was okay with it.
Right.
But when he got sick, dementia's a pretty serious thing, and
My mom had it. I
yeah,
mean,
he had it
if
for
you,
11 years. He got
yeah,
it in his late 50s.
I remember you telling me that part of it, and that's, as you know, early onset dementia. My mother got it in, I would say, probably her mid 70s. She started acting strange, and she passed at 83. But there's a lot of people out there that I'm sure can relate to this conversation, because God bless you that you took care of your father. It is not an easy thing when the person gets dementia, and half the time they don't recognize you.
Yeah. Um, I don't mean this to be mean, but some people may find it funny. Um, I was I stopped performing because I needed to be home with him for a while.
God
But
bless you.
before I did, I ran into him a couple of times in our hallway in full costume, and he didn't know who I was. And then I just wondered to myself, okay, who's more crazy now, me or him?
Right. Right.
I
No,
actually thought about doing like a one-man show about dementia.
and you know what? I swear to you, before you even said that, I was thinking this would be great material, because this conversation that we're having, there's a lot of people going through this. Okay.
Yeah,
My mother took her car. She lived in Fort Lauderdale and drove to Miami. She had never been out of her 5 block radius. She drove to Miami, crashed the car into 5 other cars. Thank God no one was hurt. The police brought her back. All right. And they asked her, where were you going? And she said, well, I was going to make dinner for my husband. My father had been dead like 15 years already. Okay. This is like, you have to find like some kind of humor in this.
yeah,
The best part
absolutely,
is my
absolutely.
sister and brother-in-law go down to Florida. They bring her back up there with them. My brother-in-law drives the car up separately, gets it fixed so he can sell it. It was like a bright blue, nice car, right? My mother walks out of my sister's house one day and says, look at that car. I used to have one just like it. So
That's
this is
funny.
right. You know what? Listen, we're comedians. And where does some of the comedy come from? It has to come from, the tragedy, because these are people's life experiences. And you're right, nobody's making fun of it. But this is what we have to learn to cope with.
But if
And
you can laugh through it
you have to
because
laugh
you've been
through it.
through it,
And
yeah,
you know what? God bless you, because you said something that you had to stop performing to take care of your father. And that is a reality. People need to understand, when performers often disappear, it's not because they're not getting booked. It's because they have some kind of family crisis going on.
yeah.
And you rose to the occasion.
No, thank you. Yeah,
So kudos to you. Now, what was your life like when did your dad pass, BearDonna?
he passed in 2016.
2016. Okay, so I'm asking you this because it was pre-pandemic.
Right.
So you were probably getting yourself out there again.
Yeah, yeah.
You did my party was 2019.
Was that the first one?
January 24th. Yes, a day that will always be etched in my mind, because I had an epiphany that night. You were there. All of these performers were like incredible. We did this at the Lower East Side at Daniel Narticio's Club
mhm.
Bedlam. Daniel was just on my other show. And, you know, he owns Red Eye now, which you should talk to
Yeah.
him. He's got a space in there that would be great for you to perform at. So I highly suggest you connect with Daniel. He is looking for acts. But
Okay,
I
cool.
remember that night, January 24th, my big birthday, being on that stage and feeling like all of a sudden everything in my life was going to change. It was really overwhelming. It was like a wave that washed over me. And in my mind, being a performer, I was sure that sitcom that I had auditioned for, I was going to get it. And that was going to be the change. Little did I realize that it was going to be the pandemic shutting
Thanks, Wendy.
my entire career, my entire life down on March 12th.
But only for a short amount of time.
Well, because Tim Moss
You
and I
certainly plowed through that.
we were out on the streets just trying to get anything we could because
Yeah.
really filming had stopped in New York.
Yeah.
All right. There was no theater, which
Yeah.
all of us really rely on, no MC work. And I was in front of Pangea when I came up with the idea. As Tim was there with me, I'm like, the restaurant is empty. Remember, they shut down. We couldn't even go inside. People were eating under heat lamps. My God, what a piece of
I
history.
remember that.
Right? And
Yeah.
I thought to myself, well, the inside of that restaurant is empty. I'm going to come up with a show that I can do in there. And the only way I can get audience for it is by streaming something that, like, believe me, BearDonna, I would have been kicking and screaming to do it. But you know what? You do what you got to do.
Yeah. That's it.
And now we're all out there again, which is like amazing.
It's great.
It's great. So what is coming up for you?
I still have my monthly show.
Okay, that's good. And that's something you know you can count on.
Yeah. I would like to do some more shows at Pangea, my own show. And
Yes.
I hope to be performing in Nouveau Riche a little more often.
Absolutely. The next one, and that's a shout out for anyone that wants to go to Nouveau Riche. The next one is August 17th.
That's usually right before my show in Nyack.
There you go. So you have
The
a
night
double
before.
header that night.
Yeah.
Are you up for it, BearDonna?
What was that?
Are you up for that? A double header?
Sure. Anytime.
Sure. Well, sure. Why not? Can you hear me? Okay, wait. We lost audio there. You can't hear me at all? And my audio is on. It's on your end.
My end?
Yeah, there. Now I can hear you.
Yeah, I see the video's a little off.
Okay. So there may be a slight delay. That is the beauty of streaming.
I know, right?
Right?
You know, it's funny. I did a show during the quarantine.
Right.
My own, show.
I remember.
And it was a disaster.
Because your Wi-Fi I remember the trauma. Your Wi-Fi was messed up.
I don't know what happened, but as I was watching it, everything was fine. But then people were messaging me that, hey, your audio is off. Your audio is you're not synced with your audio. And then all of a sudden your audio goes really, really fast. You sound like a chipmunk. And then the video slowed down. So it was just crazy. And I went on for like an hour like that, doing like an hour show.
And I remember that show. Well, guess what? Your audio's back and you have less than a minute left. How about that? Where does time go when you're having fun? What would you like to tell everybody? Your last words, BearDonna.
My last words. Don't take shit from anybody. Be who you are. Treat others the way you want them to treat you.
Absolutely.
And just don't get upset at every little thing. Have fun.
And where can people find out more about you?
I am on Facebook under BearDonna, 2 words, BEAR, Donna. I am on YouTube. I have my YouTube channel if you want to see all my unedited videos. They're adults. Be careful. No kids allowed.
BearDonna Uncut. Okay. And
Yes.
what about Instagram? What's your Instagram handle?
Instagram is it's BearDonna _ no, it's Bear _ Donna. I can't keep up with all this stuff.
I know it's just way too much. Well, let me wish you a very, very happy Pride and
Same
a happy
to you,
Pride
beautiful.
to everybody who tunes in tonight. And we will be back next week. Be there or be square. Our guest next week is the one and only Ike Avelli, comedian
Ooh.
who you know.
Yes.
So everyone have a happy Pride. Good night.
Bye-bye.